Hello, everyone, and thanks for joining me again today for another session of Me Programming Daily. In today's session, I'm going to focus on what I've been thinking about for a while now, and this is the 1D versus 2D versus ND input. So what does it mean? Right now, you can see that I've just updated the README. Right now, all diagrams are two-dimensional. So we have the depth and the width. So each skewer in a silhouette diagram increases the width, and each block inside each skewer increases the depth. What I did realize while implementing the parser is that there could be situations where the input diagrams could be multidimensional, which is not very fortunate because this is not how the renderer works. So I thought, and this is the longest introduction ever, I thought to rethink how I parse things so that I have two different production rules for two-dimensional productions and one-dimensional productions, so that one-dimensional productions I can use wherever I have this comment. Example, fork in the left-hand side branch can only accept one-dimensional lists of blocks that represent a single skewer, not many skewers. And the same happens for the right-hand side branch. But that's it. Yeah, that's it. That will allow me in the future to implement silhouette diagrams as silhouette blocks. I think I briefly mentioned this during the last session. And downgrade silhouette diagrams to just silhouette blocks. That will give us the flexibility of embedding silhouette diagrams inside silhouette diagrams recursively. And that will be a departure from drakon rules, but it will allow for a lot of flexibility on the consumer side. Right, that was the longest introduction ever. I hope you're having a great day. I am having a pretty good day myself today. I just made myself some nice coffee. So I'm starting with just an experimental idea in my head. We're on the main branch. And I'm going to start from scratch. I'm going to start this parser from scratch. And I'm going to implement a single 1D parser that should be reusable in multidimensional contexts, like, for example, in silhouette diagrams. So, new branch. 1D parsing. And in that 1D parsing, we need to get the input ready. So here I was recreating this silhouette diagram. I also spotted some problems with parsing, but those are, I believe, easy to correct. For example, in a headline, I think regular drakon allows for custom content, while my syntax doesn't have that. It only allows for an ID. I believe we can easily change that, so I'm not too worried. For now, though, I think my biggest worry right now is dimensionality of input. It should always be two-dimensional. No, the input is always... What is it? The input is text, so you can't really say if it's one-dimensional or not. But the parsing, for now, should just be one-dimensional. So let's do this. Let's do 3 actions. And let's run it. Perfect, 3 tokens. Not a big problem. Perfect. 3 actions. The start is injected automatically. End is injected automatically. I'm happy with that. Now, let us go back to the parser. Let's rip these rules, or these productions, out. And let's start afresh, focusing on single, or on one-dimensional parsing. Okay, so now that we have a clean slate, let's also start with clean input. Nothing. And let's call our production rule just skewer. Because skewer is like a fundamental one-dimensional axis on which blocks can be placed. So first, we cater for empty scenarios. So we can parse empty files. This is very, very useful. So we're already experiencing problems. I'll start noting these issues down just to translate them later to GitHub issues. Parser allows for empty input, but the renderer doesn't. That is not correct. But let's not worry too much about it. Here we can just do to action this should work. Okay. I'm still very grateful that I get to parse and render my own syntax, or the results of my own syntax. That's still pretty impressive to me. Okay. So one thing that we can have is a block. That's just for the sake of fitting everything on one screen. Let's shift everything to the left to action 1. So now my input is one block. Action 1. Now, what these do is they return a list of skewers, which is not correct. Skewer is supposed to be 1D. So if I reflect that in the code, here in the actions, I'll have to wrap the results in diagram in another list that I get here. This is my diagram. Let's do let's wrap the result in a list. And we're using that hack because all of our production rules result in just one-dimensional list of skewers. Meanwhile, the rendering engine accepts two-dimensional list of skewers. Or list of lists. So now let's cater for scenarios where we have more than one item on that skewer or more than one block. This will not parse now. Parser in line 1. So we need to add a production rule again that says block. So that will mean that the block we're just parsing now is prefixed by something else. So we have the tokens, but we should only see action 2 now. Yes, because we're not appending anything to it. But what we can do is, since skewer is 1D list, we can stop wrapping it in a list and do 1. Is that how I'm doing it here? Ish. It's still 1 dimension because 1 skewer, tokens untouched, but now we should expect action 1 and action 2 in that order. Action 1 and action 2, perfect. And that's your 1 dimension. Now, the question appears now. How do we deal with the second dimension of it? So for now, let's not worry about forks. Let's just introduce a concept of a silhouette. So a silhouette is a skewer. I'm not sure if we can use notation like that. Let me just find some examples. Yes, we can. So it's a skewer. First of all, let's see if this is allowed. Just a singular rule like that. Will it parse? No. Oh. I also need an action. But an action here is simple, it's just 1. It does parse. And it's unchanged. Okay, so we're getting places. Now, a silhouette, just for the sake of the presentation, let it be separated by the pipe symbol. So here, it's either a skewer or a silhouette pipe skewer. It's probably not very intuitive, but if it works, we'll have foundations for a silhouette diagram that is two-dimensional laid. No. Can I not use it? Oh, let's just use hash instead. What am I missing? Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot. We need to define it as a token. So, of course. So for now, let's just borrow this opening curly bracket as a token. It won't parse. Okay, so what do we have here? Gonna match type token with skewer block. Oh yeah, so that should be 3. Because we've just injected this token. And if it parses, I would be surprised. Okay, so what do we have here? Doesn't parse. Let's see what we get. No. It still doesn't parse. Okay. Why not? Oh, because we never define an empty silhouette. Yep. simplify this even further. And further. And it doesn't work. Okay. Let's see if this works. I'm optimistic. It doesn't sound very optimistic, does it? Let's switch them around. That is very promising. Okay, so silhouette. Let's add one skewer block. It does parse. Let's add two skewer blocks. Still parses. Let's add another skewer. And it doesn't parse because I don't specify a silhouette here. Now I need to shift this by one. All right. So this is very promising. What it means is we've just defined new parsing production rules that are divided into two categories. One, skewer is one-dimensional. It produces 1D, just lists of skewer blocks. And the 2D one, which produces a list of lists. Well, not right now, but it will. So for now, let's remove this thing. A silhouette can either be a single skewer or a collection of skewers. So here we can just do list, 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 list. Or, no, sorry. One, oh no, three, appended to one, or three prefixing one. And now in main, we don't need this. We can work straight on the result of the parser, which is now a list of lists of skewer blocks, or a list of skewers, and it is two-dimensional. Let's preview it. Beautiful stuff. We have, the order is reversed, but that's fine. Action 1, action 2, 3, 4. Do we not reverse it? I thought we did reverse it. Okay, but that is a very good start, I think. Let's check that reverse function. That's much better. Okay, so we have the input. Okay, so we've just constructed a tool that will help us ensure that the input for, say, a fork or for a single skewer in a silhouette is 1D. And I need to think what to do with that. Maybe one more quick exercise to get us closer to this. That should be empty. For now, let's not worry about forks. Forks will come. Now, let's just for fun do a silhouette. We need a different token. So what I wanted to do is define a parsing rule that will have a silhouette inside a silhouette. Oh, but this let's just not worry about that. And that silhouette will have to change name. To skewers. Because I'm planning to demote silhouette from a diagram type to a block type. And we're already seeing some resistance. Let's see what it is. What did I do? Oh, yeah. This should be 1D. So now I'm looking at the time. We still have time for that single exercise more. So maybe let's enrich this with headline and address icons. Not forks yet. It's time for forks will come. So this is it. Solo ID. That's a solo ID. Skewer. Can we simplify it, not to repeat ourselves? Let's not worry about the address yet. So that is no longer a list of one, just one. That should be solo ID. For now, let's reuse that other token. So now we need to change the input. I believe this is it. Out of range. Oh yeah, it should be 2. Oh yeah, that should be 3. Nope. move this here. Okay, so we have 2 dimensions. No headlines. This is not refreshed yet. No headlines, no addresses should be displayed. I'm expecting the rendering to remain identical after the refresh. And it's not. Oh, yeah. Well, it's not because I changed the IDs. Beautiful. Perfect. So now this feels like really good progress today. Now, let's not forget about the solo ID. We need to turn that solo ID into an action icon. Sorry, not action, headline. To headline. Yeah, they're all inverted, so I'll have to do this. Not the end of the world. Perfect. So now let's worry about the address identifier. Where it belongs, of course. So solo ID needs to be here. So a headline can be either this or solo ID, and in that case we can do to address if it exists. Yes, it does. To address of 4. We need to add it to the input 4 because that's the ID of this headline. Great. So now we have a very simplified and also, dare I say, more correct way of representing skewers and silhouettes which are now skewers. I need to reconsider the terminology I'm using. But what I was saying is we have a much cleaner, simpler, and more correct way of representing individual skewers and group skewers. And that will allow us to put in place those restrictions that I outlined yesterday. Namely, in each of the forks branches, we can only expect one list of skewer blocks, aka one skewer. This is good stuff, I think. Let's just give it a little bit of formatting. This is the longest production rule, so let's shift everything according to this. I will also take a note of this unused terminals and shift reduce conflict. So a terminal is a parsing term. I'm not sure what it stands for. I'll need to look it up, but what I do know is it is a parsing term. And shift reduce conflicts, I'm not sure what this is. We'll have to look into this. So I'll note it down as an issue. All right. And I think that's it for today. I'm very happy with the progress today. To be continued in my next session. So, having said that, I thank you all very much for your attention today and for sticking with me. And I would like to wish you a fantastic day ahead. Take care of yourselves. Take a break if you need to. And see you next time.